This is the plaintiff, Jonathan Weiser. He says he rented office space from the defendant for his marine supply store. Stayed for a year, then informed the defendant he wasn't going to renew. He requested a refund for a future month's rent he'd paid in advance, and that was the last time he ever heard from the defendant. He even sent the guy a certified letter and was refused. Well, he can't escape the long arm of the law or this courtroom, and that's why he's suing for the $2,919.80 he's rightfully owed. This is the defendant, James LaRock. He says the plaintiff paid his rent, then changed his mind and wanted it back. The plaintiff had every intention of staying on the premises, but moved around the corner at the last minute because he got a better deal. Since he had no chance of re-renting the place last minute and lost out on a month's rent, he has every right to keep the plaintiff's money, and that's just what he did. He's accused of holding on tight.
Okay. Frequency Electronics, represented here by Jonathan Weiser?
Correct.
Okay. You are suing Sunshine Units Incorporated, represented here by James LaRock. All right. For $2,919.80 that you say are owed to you in overpaid rent, attorney's fees, and an air conditioning repair. Tell me what's going on.
Okay. On November 1st of 2011, I signed a one-year lease to rent space plus pay the utilities.
2011?
Or, I'm sorry, 2010.
Okay, and what kind of space were you renting?
It was a retail space.
Okay, so commercial space, and what kind of business are you in?
Marine electronics.
So you sell them, or you install them and repair? What do you do?
All the above.
Okay.
Sell, install, and repair.
Is this property where you were renting space on the water?
Yes. Behind our office was docks for boat storage and dockage.
So was part of what you were renting dock space for when you were making repairs, or not really?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so you rent the place, and you're not all that happy. You decide you're not going to stay, and why is that?
Well, a whole bunch of things happened throughout the year that I was there. The first one that comes to my mind is the air conditioning. In the lease that I had, it said that I was responsible for maintenance of the air conditioner. But when the air conditioner failed, and I approached Mr. LaRock, his only reply was, "You're going to have to buy a new one. There's nothing I can do." Okay, so. Given that the lease had said that I was only responsible for maintenance.
Well, the lease says you're responsible for maintenance and repairs inside.
Okay.
But
well,
are you saying you
yes.
I don't want you to just take my word for it. You saw it, right?
But
okay.
the argument was that he wanted me to replace it.
But you didn't do that?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so what you did was repair it?
Correct.
Okay, so go on.
Okay, so when I had made the...
That would have been a good argument. If you actually bought a new air conditioner, you were suing for that, that would be a great argument.
Yeah.
However, that's not your argument. What you did was repair, which is part of your lease. So, but tell me why, okay, so, but you had a bad taste in your mouth over that, because you didn't like that.
That also, he had my bookkeeper's car towed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She was there working late one night taking care of my books. He had the car towed. I approached him, and he refused to pay for it.
Okay, and why did you have the bookkeeper's car towed?
We had posted signs because there was a problem, and the first given problem with the parking was somebody parked in his spaces for days. And I said, I'm putting up signs. When I come through here at night anymore, the signs are posted and I'm having the vehicles towed, whatever's in the parking lot. I was not aware there was a person in his
What if
unit.
he had just like borrowed somebody's car or something and that was his car? You didn't bother to go inside and ask?
It was late at night, first of all.
Then don't tow. If it's out, so I mean, I don't get it.
It's out late night at dark.
Okay, but
in the dark.
Okay, but why are you towing the car you have without even checking with him if it's his car?
He wasn't there.
Okay, do you have a phone number for him?
There didn't appear to be anybody in the building.
Okay, I can understand why you don't want to re-rent. I wouldn't want to re-rent either if you can't extend a courtesy of a phone call.
I did not know whether it was, we have a problem with the condos next door. They constantly park in those spots at the end in front of his bay. So I just assumed it was another vehicle parking from the condos.
How much would it kill you to make a phone call?
And the signs were posted.
Why does it kill you to make a phone call?
I never really thought about making a phone call.
So any other reasons why you decided you didn't want to re-rent?
Yes, I had UPS deliveries bringing equipment regularly. I'd say it was at least every other day. One particular day I came back knowing that I was supposed to receive a delivery. However, there was no note on the door. I approached Mr. LaRock. I walked over to his place and asked him if there was a package for me. He kind of gave me that mafia feeling, like, you know, I have your package, but I just want to let you know, and it was in regards to the air conditioning, that if you give me a hard time, that, I can give you a hard time. And what?
Wait,
and the
now what did
reason-
he actually say?
He said to me, yes, I do have a package, but just be aware, I can make things difficult.
Did he give you the package?
He did, but I would not have known.
Wait, so you felt that he was threatening you that he might withhold packages from you?
Correct.
Or he just wanted to show you how easy it was to intercept your package?
And to
Why
make
would
it
UPS
difficult.
give him your package anyway? Oh,
Because if I'm not there, the UPS driver usually went to one of the businesses next door and had them sign for a package.
Wow. Well, then, of course, he would have signed for the package. So that's a terrible way to try to surreptitiously get back at somebody if you're signing for the package.
I didn't say it was an intelligent.
It wasn't particularly top-notch threat.
I didn't say it was intelligent.
So here we are. It's time to decide whether you want to renew, and for ample reasons, you decide I don't want to be here.
Correct.
And so how do you let him know? Tell me what happens then.
First, it was verbal. Okay. I let him know that I was not interested in.
When did you do that?
It was approximately, I'd say, beginning to mid-October.
Okay. And then?
Then I had sent
And the
him.
lease was up, what? It had started November 1st.
Right.
All right.
Then I had sent him a certified letter, which I have the receipt for. I also sent him in the U.S. mail a letter and handed him a letter.
Okay. And so why are you here? What went wrong?
When I had asked him, well, what happened was my bookkeeper had inadvertently sent a check for November's rent.
For November or for October?
October, I'm sorry, for October's rent.
Yeah, that's pretty critical.
When I had
for
already.
October's rent.
Correct.
Okay.
And when I had rented the establishment, I had given him first and last month's rent.
Okay.
No security.
When did your bookkeeper send October's rent inadvertently, according to you?
I believe she sent it in the beginning of October.
I need to see the proof of when
sure.
that check was cashed.
No problem.
All right. And then, so you realized that at the beginning of the lease, you had paid first and last.
Correct.
So you didn't really have to pay October. So you overpaid October.
Correct.
A second time. All right. And then, so when you realized that, do you tell him?
Yes.
And what does he say?
He said, sorry, I am not giving you your money back.
Why wasn't he giving you your money back?
Because his reason was in the lease, he claims that there was a paragraph in there that explained that if I don't let him know 60 days in advance, that the lease is automatically considered to be renewed.
It's okay. Tell me what you. Okay, he clearly paid October at the beginning of this lease.
Very many.
Then he pays October again, I guess by accident. And it's paid on September 28th is the date the check was issued. So it's clearly by accident. It's just the run-of-the-mill paying of the rent. So what is your legal theory on why you should be able to keep 2 Octobers?
First of all, the check was not mailed. It was hand-delivered by him, like always, every month.
Okay, on September 28th?
Correct. It was
Okay.
hand-delivered.
Okay.
It was never, ever mailed to me ever
Okay, so it was
once.
hand-delivered, okay.
And at that time, we discussed the lease. He hadn't notified me in writing whether he was staying or not.
Okay.
So that last month, and this was explained clearly then, that means you're staying. You're not applying your last month, you're paying it, so last month will roll over to next year, which incurs to an automatic renewal.
So, isn't it important, even essential, for you to get along with your landlord, and you should consider that before you sign a lease? What do you think?
Absolutely. I live right next door to my manager.
I mean, is this something you think about if you rent?
Yeah, you definitely want to know what type of person he or she is, but you don't really have to be friends with them.
You don't have to be friends, but do you have to get along?
Yeah.
Do you rent an apartment?
No.
Okay, then you have absolutely no idea, do you? No. There you go. Going inside. I just impeached her, going inside the courtroom.
The leasee shall have the right to, the leasee is you, shall have the right to renew this lease for a period of 1 year. The leasee must notify the lessor, that would be the defendant, in writing at least 60 days prior to the expiration of this lease of his intent to renew. What does that mean? That means you get the right to pay the same rent for a whole other year, but in order to do so, you have to let me know 60 days in advance. In the event the leasee, that would be the plaintiff, does not notify the lessor of his intent to renew, and the lessor accepts payment of rent due for the first month of the new lease, the lease shall be considered renewed. So how is the lease considered renewed by a second October payment?
Paragraph 2, last month's rent.
Last month's rent shall apply to the month of 2010. Should the lease be, October 2010, should the lease be extended for an additional period, the advanced rental will then be applied to the last month of the new lease period.
The inference is that the October rent was paid, therefore I rolled over the last month to the following year automatically.
Right, to the last month of the following year if there's a renewed lease. But in order for there to be a renewed lease, there has to be a November payment. That's the weakness in your argument, is that there has to be a November payment. And it's not really a weak link in your contract, but it allows somebody to tell you at the last minute that they're moving. What your contract really behooves you to do is know in advance, sometime in September, look, what are your intentions? I'm advertising it. You either sign a new lease with me or I'm advertising it. That's the cautious way to proceed. You proceeded the little more reckless way, which is to wait and see, wait and see, wait and see. And when you wait and see, what he did to you was what he sort of has a right to do based on this contract, which is tell you in the middle of October, or almost late October, that he's not renewing. You want me to stretch the fact that he paid a second October into that's paying November rent. And I'm just not willing to do that. With the tremendous consequence involved, you really have to know you're paying November rent to be executing a whole new one-year commitment. It really has to be November rent. It can't be that he accidentally pays October a second time, then he says, hey, I'm bailing, and then you say, when you paid October, that's really rolls into the last month of the other lease. Yeah, if the other lease kicks in, but I just don't find that the other lease kicked in. On the AC repair, I find in favor of the defendant. As to the rent, I find in favor of the plaintiff. Now, the rent that you paid was how much?
The total amount was,
$1,674.80?
yeah, that was for the rent, $1,674.80.
Okay. Now, you are also suing for $350 in lawyer fees. For what?
I had my attorney write a letter to Mr. LaRock explaining that we will be not renewing the lease. It cost me $350.
Okay, well, the letter actually, it doesn't just say we're not renewing the lease, because you could write your own letter that says that. What it says is I want our rent back. The rent was paid accidentally, and that's not fair, and give the rent back. You know darn well it was accidentally, and we're not renewing our lease, so give back the rent.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have a receipt from your lawyer for $350?
Yes, I do.
Now, in the contract, it says he agrees to pay your lawyer fees. Now, there's a law in Florida that says that when you have that in a contract, it's reciprocal, even if you don't say it's reciprocal. So he is entitled to the $350 in lawyer fees. Therefore, I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $2,024.80. That's my verdict.
Thank you.
Step on in here. How are you feeling coming out?
Just about.
Turn around this way.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, the judge made a good point. The wording of the contract really was a little bit off. The inference is not clear.
What about these implied threats he talked about?
They're very inaccurate. I never made any threats to the man at all.
Why would he say something like that?
I think that he, along with a lot of the inaccuracies he's had, he's just trying to make his case a little bit more.
Okay, documents are right down that way. All right, come on in here. Did you make those up? Those threats?
No, I have no reason to make them up.
What kind of threat?
Oh, it was just basically the tone and telling me that he can make things difficult for me.
What do you think about that, Harvey?
Sir.
Well, here's what I think, Kurt. You have a responsibility to read your lease before you sign it. There are all sorts of things in a lease that can come back to haunt you, and you're going to look at it at the end and say, oh my God, I can't believe I signed it. It's so easy to prevent it. Sit down for a half hour, read it carefully, and know what you're getting into. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.